Breaking tonight, a big story out of campaign 2016 as a new look at battleground polls shows Donald Trump closing the gap in states that matter most, even winning states that repeatedly voted for President Obama. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. Today, we have been poring over data from RealClearPolitics.com and found some dramatic numbers in the 7 key states that together represent more than a third of all the electoral votes needed to win. According to the Real Clear Politics average of polls, Donald Trump is now leading in 5 of the 7 top battleground states. He's up by 5 points in Iowa, more than 2 points in Nevada, 2 in Ohio, almost a point in North Carolina, and is just edging out Mrs. Clinton in Colorado. Meantime, it is a dead heat in Florida, and while she is still leading in Pennsylvania, Trump has narrowed the gap to less than 2 points in a state the pundits suggested he could not win. What's more, all these states went for President Obama in the last 2 election cycles, with the exception of North Carolina. We have a great lineup to discuss all of this tonight, including Karl Rove, who is here with a warning about the format of the next debate, plus Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who has been helping Mr. Trump shape his message and prepare for debates, and Tom Bevan, co-founder and publisher of Real Clear Politics. He's here to discuss those poll numbers, and we're going to start with him. Tom, good to see you. So these numbers are good for Trump, and Florida, let's start there, you say is the most important state for both of them.
It is, in particular for Donald Trump. I mean, if you look at the math, he just can't get there unless he wins the 29 electoral votes. He'd basically have to run the table. It would take something of a miracle. So that's critical for Donald Trump. That's a state Obama won by less than 1 point in 2012. It's now under a point in our Real Clear Politics average. It's been really close for basically the entire month of September. And so, Trump's going to try and run up his numbers in the north and the Panhandle. Clinton will run up her numbers in southern Florida, and then the battle will be fought, as it always is in Florida, in that I-4 corridor, Hillsborough County around Tampa, is where that state will be decided.
Okay, North Carolina, that's, you tell me who that's supposed to, typically, traditionally, it would have gone Republican.
Right. Obama won it in 2008, but didn't in 2012. He lost it by about 2 points to Mitt Romney. This is a state Trump has to keep in the Republican column, 15 electoral votes, and it's close. It's very, very close. In fact, we have 7 polls there. 3 of them favor Trump, 2 of them favor Clinton, and 2 of them are exactly tied. So it is that close in North Carolina. And again, that's one that Trump really needs to keep in the Republican column. If he loses that state, it's going to really complicate his path to 270. Ohio, no Republicans ever won the White House without it. It'll probably be the same again this year. That is one state. Trump has a small but stable lead there. And in all the polls that we have in the month of September, he's leading by, a little bit, 2 points in our average overall.
That was the same thing with Obama last time around, where he was ahead of Mitt Romney just by a bit at all those polls in Ohio, and that was how it turned out.
Exactly. In fact, Obama won 9 out of the 10 battleground states. He was ahead with small leads in all those states, and they held up for him.
Okay, let's talk about Colorado, because she was ahead of Trump by 11 points in Colorado a month ago.
Yeah, this to me is Clinton's sort of firewall state, right? It's a state that Obama won handily in 08 and 12. Clinton, as you mentioned, she had a double-digit lead there just a few weeks ago. And now Trump's leading by less than a point. A pretty dramatic drop in altitude for Clinton there. And the 9 electoral votes, it's not a ton, but it is key. If she can hold on to Colorado, she's going to force Trump to win another state that might be a little bit tougher for him. So that is a state to definitely keep an eye on for Hillary Clinton.
And then the be-all, end-all, Pennsylvania. I mean, if Trump could win that, it would be huge. But the odds of him winning it, even though it's tightened, you tell me.
The odds of it, look, this is the Lucy with the football state for Republicans. Every 4 years they go in there and they say, we've got a chance, and then Lucy pulls the football away, and it's never even really that close. This year, however, again, given the makeup of the state, given that Clinton, it's another state where she's lost a lot of altitude, down to under 2 points now in the most latest Real Clear Politics average of polls, has Democrats really worried. And Republicans are, again, licking their chops at that state. But it is a state that has not gone well for Republicans in the final analysis. So we'll have to wait and see.
Tom, thank you.
You bet, Megyn.
Karl Rove has some thoughts on these polls and how to win from here. He's a Fox News contributor and former Deputy Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush. Karl, good to see you. Let's just take a couple of those in reverse order. Pennsylvania. David Plouffe, who got Barack Obama elected twice, was on the show this week saying it doesn't exist for the Republicans. Don't kid yourself. Do you agree?
No, I think it's very much up in the air because, look, Trump has an ability to attract blue-collar, working-class Democrats in the western part of the state.
He knows that, but Plouffe said there are too many Democrats who are going to come out of Philadelphia to overwhelm them.
Look, if that will be true if she gets the same kind of turnout that Barack Obama got. Think about this. Obama carried the city of Philadelphia by 550,000 votes and loses the rest of the state. But Romney wins it by about 150,000 votes, the rest of the state, but loses the state by 300 and some odd thousand votes. So,
wow.
It depends on the level of turnout in the African-American community in Philadelphia, and it also depends upon how well Trump does with white, college-educated voters in the suburbs of Philadelphia, particularly women. And that's where his weak point is in the state. He's overperforming in the western part of the state, blue-collar Democrats. He looks like he's underperforming among independents and soft Republicans in the suburbs, and we don't know about the city of Philadelphia.
We've heard this time after time, that Trump and Clinton are fighting over white college-educated women, and that the debate was supposed to be aimed, according to Joe Trippi and some others, at white college-educated women. And that was some of the criticism that Trump received thereafter, saying, what did you do during that debate to appeal to white college-educated women? On the list is not calling Miss Universe fat. So a controversy that continues to dog him. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, if he makes this about change versus the status quo, not about his personal scandals, not about her personal scandals, then he's got a shot to win. If he lets himself, if he takes the bait and gets drawn in on these things, he's in trouble. And particularly if he not only gets drawn into them in the debate, but then squanders a valuable day. Look, Megyn, we're at the point where the most valuable thing that a presidential campaign has is time, and he chewed up a valuable day arguing over something that is completely, on the edges of this debate, and certainly not central to his ability to make a winning case.
And so now we're a week or so away from the next presidential debate, and it'll be a town hall format. And I want to play this clip because Trump, he's had limited town hall experience, but he's had some town hall experience. And here was a testy moment that happened on February 18th at one he had with CNN. You tell me whether he should repeat this.
When you said that George W. Bush, which was our last Republican president, a man I respect greatly, a person that we really fought for when he was up against a lot of pressure, that he lied to get us in the war in Iraq. That stung me very deeply. Okay. I don't believe that. I'm just wondering, given some time passing, perhaps you've rethought that. Would you be willing to rethink that?
Well, a lot of people agree with what I said.
Do you think the President of the United States, George W. Bush, lied?
Well, look, I'm not going to get you a vote, but that's okay.
Carl?
Town hall meetings are tough because there's a tendency when you get into a debate to think that you're speaking either to the camera or that you're engaged with your opponent. But a town hall meeting is a conversation, a one-on-one conversation with somebody who's looking you in the face, not too many feet away, and the ability of a candidate to display empathy and to sound like they're listening, to somehow make a connection with that person, and then to take the conversation the direction that they want to go. I mean, there was no need to get in an argument or insult that voter, and he cannot do that the coming week. He's got to also be careful about being too harsh in his attacks on Hillary Clinton. It's one thing when you're standing there, just the two of you on the stage, but if you're in a room, the dynamic of those kind of personal attacks changes pretty dramatically.
Carl, great to see you.
You bet. Thank you.
Well, just last night we spoke to Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway, who suggested that in the next debate, she wants to see the same Donald Trump who showed up for the beginning of the first debate. Watch.
I think if Mr. Trump looks back at the first 30 minutes or so of the debate, he'll see some real highlights. His ability to sort of joust and jab with Hillary Clinton.
Lieutenant General Michael Flynn is the former director of the Defense Intelligence Agency and a Trump national security advisor. Great to see you, General. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So the New York Times is reporting that Trump's struggles in the debate are attributable to his inadequate or improper debate prep. And they cite in particular these two retired military generals, right, who are just screwing the whole thing up. Is that you?
That's obviously me is one of them, and a good friend of mine is the other. So, yeah, I mean, I saw that, and I just find that pretty laughable. The preparation that he had, and I think Kellyanne was right on the money, that the first 30 to 40 minutes, and I actually timed it while I was sitting in the debate hall there, the first 40 minutes was about the economy, prosperity, tax reform, and I think Donald Trump nailed it. What I really saw at the second half of the debate really was, frankly, the poor judgment on some of the issues that were picked up on by Hillary Clinton, where she brought in the Miss Universe pageant winner. And I thought that was, you look at some of the things that have come out about this young lady, in the last 24 hours.
Even though this woman had some troubles, even though this Miss Universe has some troubles, all of his comments about her weight are on camera. Not those specific ones, but many others.
It just shows the bad judgment. But the other thing is, had I been in Lester Holt's seat, I would have asked much tougher questions, and I would have focused on the three themes, which was, the direction of the country, prosperity, and I think security, American security. And none of that was talked about for almost an hour.
Okay,
so,
but as the candidate, you got to be able to get in the stuff that you want to get in and get away from the stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
So what are you still on the debate prep team?
So divert or pivot. Yeah.
All right. So what's going to happen differently? What is happening differently between now and the next one?
Well, I think that Donald Trump is still out. We were up in New Hampshire today, actually. So your laydown of all of the polls that he's and the momentum that the entire Trump campaign team has
looking
right now.
Good there.
Feeling very good. And the pitch that he gave up in New Hampshire was superb today. So I think a lot of this is just continuing to show, in the opponent of Hillary Clinton, the bad judgment that she has displayed in both foreign policy and even here as a senator of the state of New York, where I don't know what accomplishments she has here, really none. In fact, the loss of, I understand, a couple of 100,000 jobs out of New York. So she has really no good things to sort of sink her teeth into in terms of accomplishments. Her judgment and some of the issues that she has been involved in, from her judgment of using a private server at her home where she placed national security.
He knew these things before the first debate.
Yep,
so
and
what will change? He just needs to.
Well, one of the things that I think that he came across, I actually thought that he won the debate. Hands down won the debate. I think that we didn't do a good enough job probably spinning it after all the spin stuff that happens, and I think that the mainstream media actually did. They did sort of their job of making sure for the last couple of days, talking up about how Hillary Clinton did and how Donald Trump, didn't do. So, I really look at this thing and I say, hey, look, I think that Donald Trump won that debate the other night, and I believe, and you can do all the scientific polling, and I'm not a pollster, but what I saw and the people that I've been talking to and I pay very close attention to the sort of the information domain, and there are an awful lot of people that are looking at Donald Trump in a much different way and saying, this is a guy that I can see as the president of the United States or the commander in chief. And frankly, the judgment and the decisions that Hillary Clinton has made have been just absolutely poor.
Great to see you, General.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here. Well, there are also new theories circulating tonight about the last debate, including the real meaning of this mysterious bump in the back of Hillary Clinton's jacket, and whether she was using some sort of hand signals. Bum, bum, bum. We will investigate with Brian Kilmeade. Plus, Donald Trump today started talking about how Bill and Hillary Clinton treated the women who came forward to accuse the former president. And Trump spokesperson Katrina Pearson and DNC member Robert Zimmerman are next on whether or not this is fair game.
The Clintons are the sordid past. We will be the very bright and clean future.
The Kelly File is brought to you